Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a Floyd County school employee is indicted on rape and sodomy charges. And one local lawmaker calls for changes to a formula designed to close the equity gap between school systems in Kentucky.
Plus, we are warm in the short term, but some cooler conditions are looming. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A Floyd County school employee has been indicted on rape and sodomy charges. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox joins us now with more on what we know.
On 2 charges. John Martin was indicted on first-degree rape and first-degree sodomy charges. The indictment said the offenses were committed in the late 1990s. WYMT was able to confirm that Martin is an employee of Floyd County Schools. The school system said in a statement, upon first notice of this matter, the district took immediate steps to ensure that students were safe and the employee was placed into a position where he would not be working with or around district students. In relation to Martin's employment, the school district's attorney, Jonathan Shaw, told WYMT, public employees, just like any other citizens, are entitled to the constitutional presumption of innocence. As a public employer, the district is not permitted to take disciplinary action against an employee solely because they've been charged with a crime. You can read both of those statements in full on our website at WYMT.com. In studio, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Floyd County is not the only school district with employees or former employees facing similar charges recently. As we first told you yesterday, former Laurel County teacher William Goodson was arrested on sex-related charges, and former Letcher County teacher Brian Bailey is expected to be arraigned on rape and other charges tomorrow. In Laurel County, a man is wanted man is behind bars after leading deputies on a foot chase. Deputies arrested 28-year-old Logan Tincher last night. He was wanted on an outstanding warrant after failing to appear in court for OWI charges. Deputies tracked him to a house off Copley Road, and when he saw them, he ran out the back door. He was taken into custody after a short chase and a brief struggle. Tincher is now charged with fleeing or evading police and resisting arrest. Also in Laurel County, a man is facing charges after police found more than 2.5 pounds of meth. Deputies arrested 38-year-old Brandon Bussell last week. After police responded to a crash, they found meth, Suboxone, and a handgun on Bussell. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Wayne County high school student is facing charges after sheriff's deputies say he sold a THC vape pen at school. The student who purchased the vape was taken to the hospital after passing out in a school hallway. 18-year-old Alexander Davalos was arrested on felony and misdemeanor charges last week. Dr. Angela Houchin is a pediatrician with UK Healthcare. She says the effects of vaping marijuana are much stronger than smoking it.
The marijuana that is used in vapes specifically is 60 to 80% concentrate, compared to what they used to call a joint, which would just be 20% THC.
Dr. Houchin says if you are worried your child may be under the influence of marijuana, some signs to watch for are bloodshot eyes along with anxiety.
We are tracking some mild and wet weather as we go into your Tuesday evening. Up on first alert pinpoint Doppler, heavier downpours pushing into the Big Sandy Valley at this hour. Heavy downpour not too far away from Magoffin County into Salyersville, also pushing into Johnson County close to Painesville, and a few more light to moderate showers in Floyd County, also moving into Pike County at this hour. And same story for Wolfe County, not too far away from downtown Campton, and some more light sprinkles or light showers in Laurel County pushing into portions of Rockcastle, also Jackson and Clay counties. At this hour, the good news, no severe weather, but you will need that rain gear if you have those plans this evening, just in case, as off and on showers continue across our region. Also tracking some more cloudy and mild weather. Those current readings in the middle to lower 60s, down to 61 for Manchester, also in Somerset, up to 67 though for Jackson, and 70 over in Clintwood for Southwest Virginia at this hour. And those lows are once again above average. Most of us back in the middle 50s as you wake up on Wednesday. And again, we are watching out for some more off and on showers this evening. Widespread rain chances on Wednesday, a little bit of a break on Thursday, and then some more busy weather by Friday and to kick off this weekend. All those details coming up in just a little bit. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thank you. The president of Big Sandy Community and Technical College is stepping down. We received a statement from Dr. Scott Rule about his decision, saying, quote, BSCTC is vital for education and job opportunities in our rural area. Despite my short tenure, the community embraced me warmly, and I built strong bonds here. I trust KCTCS President Ryan Quarles and the leadership of our college to ensure the continued and future success of the college for generations to come, end quote. Rule was selected as the new president last August and had only served since January. Roughly 30 years ago, the Kentucky Supreme Court ruled that the Commonwealth was failing in its duty to adequately fund public education. It deemed the gap in funding between poor and rich districts unconstitutional. This led to the legislature passing the Kentucky Education Reform Act of 1990, which raised taxes and, as WYMT's Olivia Calfee explains, also created the Support Education Excellence in Kentucky formula, also known as SEEK.
In Kentucky, we have to use SEEK to distribute the money. A lot of people think SEEK is a funding mechanism, but it's actually a distribution method that keeps funding equal.
It has been more than 30 years since the Support Education Excellence in Kentucky, or SEEK formula, was created. And Representative Timmy Truitt says it is sparking a lot of conversation during the 2024 legislative session regarding teacher raises.
What we've noticed is over time, with population shifts and people leaving, especially Eastern Kentucky, what's happening is our rural counties sometimes are losers in the SEEK formula funding.
Meaning the formula must be analyzed, because Truitt says teacher raises require more than a percentage increase, or that statewide pay gap will continue to rise.
The SEEK formula has to be looked at. We have to look at that and decide, how can we distribute this money fairly to where every district is getting their fair share, to where every district can give raises that they need to give. And some districts, have the money to do those raises and other districts do not.
Truitt says the House Education Committee has passed the creation of a work group to make changes to the formula.
I still look forward to this working group. I think it'll be good for education. And if it can last another 30 years, if we tweak it next year and come up with a new formula and it lasts another 30 years, I think that's a success. But right now we've got to fix some of our problems.
However, the work group approval still needs to make it through the House and Senate. Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
According to the Kentucky Association of School Administrators, teacher salaries average 25% less than other college-educated professionals. And in 2022, the average starting teacher salary was a little more than $38,000. Kentucky lawmakers have passed a bill to encourage better construction of homes. It's House Bill 256, and it's designed to promote stronger homes to resist losses due to catastrophic weather events. It's sponsored by Representative Michael Sarge Pollock of Campbellsville. It provides grants to property owners, contractors, and nonprofit organizations.
A unique opportunity to present a way to provide some more, protection on our roofs. And then that is used by the Insurance Institute for Building and Home Safety, who's brought up a fortified technique.
The bill passed with 21 yes votes and 1 pass vote. It had already passed the Banking and Insurance Committee, but because it requires money to be spent, it had to be heard in the House Budget Committee. He's played on some of the biggest stages in basketball, but today a former Kentucky and NBA star came to the state capitol to speak on an issue that's very close to him. Michael Kidd Gilchrist helped Kentucky win a national title in 2012, and he's played on several NBA teams. But he says the most important thing now is to help kids who struggle with stuttering. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what took place at the Capitol today.
Michael Kidd Gilchrist says he considers Kentucky a second home, and he says despite his success in basketball, he says what happened in a Senate committee was a big win.
For the first time in my life, I'm proud to stutter, you know, and I just never thought that would be.
Kidd Gilchrist talked about a bill that'll help provide insurance coverage for people who need therapy sessions because of their stuttering.
Like, I probably made the biggest difference in my life so far, other than my kids and my wife.
Right now, there are arbitrary and really low, I would say harsh limits on whether or not stuttering is covered at all, or how many times you can have sessions of therapy for a stutter.
The process for this bill to be made law could be faster because of the fact that it passed unanimously in the Senate Banking and Insurance Committee. It was placed on the consent calendar, which means debate is bypassed and it could get to the House faster. Kidd Gilchrist says he realizes people recognize him for his abilities on the court.
I'm a human first, and I think people see that in me, not just a person who plays ball, you know.
He says Kentucky is the first state to tackle this issue and believes there's still a lot of work left to do.
Like, I just never thought that I would have something that, you know, that it might be passed, like, eventually.
In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
A speech therapist told the committee that it's often a challenge getting insurance companies to cover multiple sessions for people who stutter. A Kentucky grandmother is turning her family's heartache into meaningful change. House Bill 682 creates an alert system requiring law enforcement to notify the public when children with special needs go missing and are in danger. Rondo O'Brien's autistic grandson Ian escaped from a children's home in northern Kentucky in June of 2022. Ian later drowned after going into the Ohio River. Rondo O'Brien's petition on change.org has received nearly 2,000 signatures. This weekend, we are springing forward and losing an hour as we are leaving standard time. However, a current bill that's been filed in the House means this could be the last time ever that Kentuckians observe daylight saving time, although you know we've heard this before. The Uniform Time Act allows states to opt out of daylight saving time, staying on standard time year-round, and this year a Kentucky state representative thinks it might be time to stop springing forward and falling back.
Kentucky needs to stand up and say, look, we don't want the nation dictating what our time gets to be. We want to do it ourselves. So what my bill would do is it would keep us under standard time, and just when you spring forward, we wouldn't set our clocks.
Now, this, again, not the first time Kentucky has tried legislation regarding time changes. 3 pieces of legislation regarding changes to DST failed, and last year a measure to make DST year-round versus standard time also failed.
Well, be sure to grab the umbrella as rain sticks around this evening. Your forecast coming up. Plus,
after seeing some more of the youth kids competing, it was like, oh, hey, I can do this.
Sports reporter Armando Berry brings us part 2 of his series, A Strong People.